20 News channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
More than 1 million people braved the second coldest New Year's Eve ever as temperatures dropped to a bone-chilling 10°F while revelers watched the glittering ball drop with a burst of confetti and spectacular fireworks in Times Square. Earlier on Sunday, New York police warned revelers to suit up in thermals, hats and gloves or risk frostbite and hypothermia. Thousands of people had already started gathering more than 12 hours before the midnight countdown to 2018 to see the glittering crystal ball drop in Times Square. It ended up being one of the coldest celebrations on record, held under tight security after a year that saw several fatal attacks on large crowds, including one in Times Square itself last spring. Partygoers were warned they would be pinned in place for hours and to bundle up in preparation. The National Weather Service predicted temperatures in the mid-teens in Times Square at midnight Sunday, with wind chill values that could make it feel like -5°F, -15 Celsius. It was only 14 degrees Fahrenheit, -10 Celsius, in the city by late afternoon, already making it one of the coldest celebrations on record. The event rivaled some of the coldest New Year's celebrations on record. In 1962 it was just 11 degrees Fahrenheit, -11.67 Celsius, outside, and in 1939 and 2008 it was 18 degrees Fahrenheit, -7.78 Celsius. At least it won't be as cold as the frostiest ball drop on record, 1 degree Fahrenheit, -17.22 Celsius, in 1917. Rimmel Scott, 22, and her boyfriend Brad Whitaker, 22, of San Diego, arrived shortly after 9 a.m., saying they were trying to keep a positive attitude as temperatures hovered in the teens. Each wore several layers of clothing. "Our toes are frozen, so we're just dealing with it by dancing," Scott said. Some wore red scarves that read Happy New Year and others donned yellow and purple hats as a pizza deliveryman sold pies to the hungry crowd. In a prime viewing spot near 42nd Street, Alexander Abraham grinned as he looked around at the flashing lights of Times Square. "I always saw it on TV. So I thought why not come out and see it in person," said the 19-year-old from Orange County, California. "It's an experience you can never forget." Michael Waller, 45, made a snap decision on Saturday evening to drive straight from Columbus, Ohio. He made it to Times Square at 8 a.m. and waited all day in front of the ball. "I didn't want to stay home for this, by myself," he said. The Knight tweeted out a checklist for partygoers, including hand warmers, wool socks, thermals and more thermals. Extra police and fire personnel monitored weather conditions and the safety of those in attendance to outdoor events in Times Square. After 2 terrorist attacks and a rampaging SUV driver who plowed into a crowd on the very spot where the party takes place, police are taking no chances. The police department estimates that it cost $7.5 million to protect the event, with security being tighter than ever before. Garages in the area will be emptied of cars and sealed off, and detectives are stationed at area hotels working with security officials to prevent sniper attacks. Thousands of uniformed officers will line the streets, while cement blocks and sanitation trucks will block vehicles from entering the secure area where spectators will gather. Revelers must pass through one of a dozen checkpoints where they will be screened and then screened again as they make their way to the main event. At the corner of 48th Street and 7th Avenue, Chris Garcia, his girlfriend Sarah Velasquez and her brother Edgar Valdez stood rigidly, having waited in the cold for almost 6 hours. Valdez, 19, said he felt pretty safe at the event. "They checked us pretty good," he said. "Police checked what we had, and another scanned us with metal detectors." Mariah Carey performed again on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, hosted by Ryan Seacrest, after a bungled performance last year in which she stumbled through her short set, failing to sing for most of it despite a pre-recorded track of her songs playing in the background. Carey was visibly upset during the performance and she blamed the show's production team, but they ultimately buried the hatchet. She posted an advertisement featuring herself for the show on December 22 that said, "Take Two." Chana Burke, an activist who started a Me Too campaign a decade ago to raise awareness about sexual violence, started this year's ceremonial ball drop. She pushed the crystal button that officially began the 60-second countdown to the new year. A flurry of tweets, Instagram and Facebook posts ensued after actress-activist Alyssa Milano urged victims to respond with the phrase "Me Too." Milano initially wasn't aware of Burke's earlier campaign and has since publicly credited her. Burke said she hopes the new year will bring new momentum to fuel this work and we won't stop anytime soon. The dazzling finale of the show was the traditional drop of a Waterford crystal ball down a pole atop 1 Times Square. This year, the ball was 12 feet in diameter, weighed 11,875 pounds and was covered with 2,688 triangles that changed colors like a kaleidoscope, illuminated by 32,256 LED lights. When the first ball drop happened in 1907, it was made of iron and wood and adorned with 125-watt light bulbs. The first celebration in the area was in 1904, the same year the city's first subway line started running. Just minutes after midnight, partygoers started to drain from the area as if a giant tub stopper has been pulled up. And the cleanup will begin, led by a small army of city employees including more than 200 sanitation workers, dozens of police officers who clear the area of confetti and other garbage. Crews removed more than 44 tons of debris last year. Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen hosted CNN's coverage of New Year's Eve festivities in New York City. Cohen, a talk show host on Bravo, was brought in as a replacement for Kathy Griffin, who was dismissed by CNN last spring after posting a video of herself online in which she was holding a mask styled to look like the severed head of President Donald Trump. The pair sported matching black turtlenecks at their wintry Manhattan filming location. Cohen, 49, announced at one point during the broadcast that the evening marks the first AC&AC, in case you were wondering. Meanwhile, Steve Harvey got roasted on Twitter after he started trending online because of his outfit. The comedian hosted his own New Year's Eve television special live on Fox from Times Square. It is his first time hosting a New Year's Eve show after musician Pitbull hosted Fox's special for the last 3 years. Because of the record low temperatures in New York, Harvey is wearing a large white coat, black gloves and a white hat to keep warm. Twitter immediately weighed in on the comedian's fashion sense. Some compared his outfit to one from Kerry Washington's character Olivia Pope on Scandal, while one person said he resembled Frosty the Snowman. Elsewhere in Florida, the Trump family looked flashy while dressed to the nines in preparation for their annual New Year's Eve bash at Mar-a-Lago. The president, Melania and 11-year-old Barron made a serious statement as they arrived to the gala taking place inside the Donald J. Trump Grand Ballroom Sunday evening. Melania donned a gorgeous $4,000 emery floral embroidered sequin ermine gown, while the guys sported black tie suits. Imka, Jared and their 2 children, Arabella, 6, and Joseph, 4, smiled for the camera in a cute Instagram snapshot that shows the group in suits and dresses. Lara Trump also took to social media to share a sweet photo of herself and Eric on the red carpet. Thank you, 2017. Hello 2018, Lara said. She chose a Chiara Boni La Petite robe plunging black bodysuit, and Eric, a black suit and white bow tie. The pricey tickets for the president's lavish New Year's Eve bash rose this year, and cost a whopping $750 per guest, according to the Washington Post. Freezing cold weather is also expected to usher in for New Year's Eve celebrations across the Northeast and Midwest as well. Some events have already been canceled due to the frigid weather, including the New Year's Eve gathering at the Village of Orchard Park near Buffalo in upstate New York. The Weather Service predicted lows would hit -20 degrees to -30 degrees, -7°C to -34°C, from Montana into the Dakotas and Minnesota, which is well below average. Temperatures could drop to around 0, -18°C, as far south as the northern border of Oklahoma on New Year's Day. They will stoop into the -30s near the Canadian border over the next few days. Icy roads will make travel difficult over much of the United States, from the south-central states of Texas and Oklahoma and eastward over Arkansas. In other parts of the world, millions brought in the new year with spectacular firework displays. The ancient Greek temple of the Parthenon atop Athens' Acropolis Hill was in the shadow of fireworks during New Year celebrations in Greece. The quadriga sculpture atop the Brandenburg Gate was illuminated by the fireworks display in the German capital of Berlin for the celebration.